Video games. I remember when I got into gaming. From the day I got the Wii as a Christmas gift, to the days I lost to Matt at Wii Sports Boxing, gaming to me, and like many others, became my favorite pastime. Being able to explore worlds beyond our imagination, getting to be the heroes or villains of stories, and seeing the innovation and advancements that came with gaming. From gyro controls, procedural generation, first-person combat, and even toys to life, gaming felt like it would only get better and better, to the point we could barely sleep, waiting for the next big thing. And it seemed like the future of gaming was looking bright. Cut to 2026 and we are in a living hell. Constant layoffs, dead on arrival games, insane microtransactions, and a lack of originality. What the hell happened? Well, sit back, relax, and let me tell you the tale of how gaming is slowly dying. Okay, first off, let's address the elephant in the room. Gaming isn't actually dying in the traditional sense. In fact, it's probably the best it's ever been in terms of accessibility, graphics, and size. We went from games being in arcades to games being at your house to games being in your pockets. Games have gone from 2D 8-bit side-scrollers to 3D open worlds with realistic graphics. And what used to last 1 or 2 hours can now last nearly days, weeks, hell, even forever with certain games. But it's also these same concepts that have begun to become the downfall of gaming itself, because companies don't seem to understand the concept of moderation. Games keep trying to become more and more realistic. Games keep trying to reach this unreachable idea of infinite playtime, or trying to be the only game you would ever need. And as a result, production gets more expensive, leading to more expensive games, and with pay staying the same and AI eating every piece of hardware. It's hell, man. But how could these concepts that we usually want to push to improve upon lead us to such a horrible and depressive state of gaming as a whole? Well, let's tackle these one at a time, starting with one of the bigger contributors to the state. Now, it's no surprise that as gamers, we always want our games to look pretty and good. We want to be able to see the details and beauty of the world, the emotion on someone's face, or even the coolness of attacks. And while certain games obviously benefit from improving graphics, like Call of Duty, GTA, and even Last of Us, it becomes a problem when this idea that graphics need to keep getting better actively starts to affect the quality and price of the game itself. So many companies invest millions of dollars on the look of the game, they often tend to overlook the quality of the game, almost as if expecting that being able to count the number of hairs on a character's head will make up for the game being unfinished, boring, or buggy. And it doesn't help when systems like ray tracing keep being pushed into games, despite the fact that optimizing it for so many different kinds of systems is next to impossible. Games like Cyberpunk and Anthem are perfect examples in showing that good looks can't carry a game, because despite looking amazing, these games were either buggy, glitchy messes or boring, stuffing-filled slop, which in turn leads to layoffs and more microtransactions in other games to make up for the loss, showing that it's not only ineffective but unsustainable to keep funding so much into graphics. So it shouldn't be a surprise that as of recently, indie games have gotten significantly more popular, not just because they happen to be less expensive, but because many times they manage to make a game that not only looks good, but plays good. Silksong, Nine Souls, Endless Dream Barbecue all have a style that beautifully capture the world they present without needing to sacrifice quality or optimization, which helps to keep these games affordable, not just for the consumer, but for the studio too. Something that these companies could absolutely benefit from, yet refuse to do so from the sheer size of their obsession. You know what else is a size problem? Modern video games. Like I mentioned before, games like the original Mario Bros. Took like 1 to 2 hours max to beat. Not a surprise considering back in the day, a cartridge could hold at most 1 megabyte of data. But as systems, disks, and storage became larger, so did the potential data and content a game could have in terms of sheer content and playtime. Which you would expect to mean that games can have more high quality and engaging content, but what we have seen is the complete opposite. Games have gotten larger and larger, yet it seems that the majority of this size is either thanks from insane graphics or from metaphorical stuffing. Side quests, constant backtracking, crafting, and waiting! So much waiting! As if it's fun to waste time instead of actually playing the game! I don't want to be doing a whole hopping around my base like in Minecraft session just to wait for a timer to hit 0, which again makes me bring back Anthem. Circletoon said it best when he said that this game is inherently fun, had the potential to be great, but in trying to be a Destiny killer, trailer got filled with so much stuffing and padding, it lost what could have made it unique under so much boring gunk. It is not just Anthem, Death Stranding, Assassin's Creed, Ghostwire Tokyo, Horizon, Days Gone, Far Cry, Marvel's Avengers are all games with an issue of having insane amounts of stuffing for the sake of trying to keep your attention forever, which half of the time fail because they feel more like a job than a fun side adventure, with live service games being the biggest culprits in constant season battle passes and collabs. When we were young, this didn't matter. We had all the time in the world to play games, but now nobody wants to come back from work and feel like they just clocked into their second job because the game said you needed to kill 100 slimes to progress into the next mission or kill 1000 players to get the next skin. But a game I like to pull as an example of having good stuffing is the Yakuza series. This game has a buttload of things to do, but almost none of them are boring fetch quests. You have go-kart racing, managing a business, dancing, the sewing minigame, all things that are optional filler but don't make the game boring or worse. I'm obviously not saying games can't have side content. When I play a game, I want the game to last a while too, but I don't also want the game to feel like a job. If companies want games to not only last but be fun, they need to learn to moderate the amount and quality of the content while also acknowledging that fact that games can last forever, and even live service games will eventually die off, no matter how much content they keep dripping into them. One final thing I want to talk about is accessibility and how gaming as a hobby has become so insanely expensive and difficult to enter in the first place. And this is especially the case thanks to AI. I'm sure many of you gamers have already noticed this back when it first started, but due to AI, the cost to produce games and consoles have reached levels we've never seen before. The Xbox and PS5 have gone through several price hikes, with the Xbox not only going up to nearly $800, but needing to discontinue the 2TB model, and PCs have become even more expensive thanks to the RAM shortage. And what makes this problem even worse is the fact that companies keep investing in this as if AI is going to make them a bajillion dollars overnight. Micron has gone as far as straight up refusing to sell RAM to regular consumers in focus of AI, and Nvidia and Microsoft being the worst offenders of basically circling money as if with enough time the money will magically double. And not only is this stupid, it's unsustainable again. Each company keeps marketing AI as the next step that will help companies reach record profits, which as a result keeps companies investing into each other over and over. And this is despite the fact that almost none of the companies investing this much into AI have actually seen a profit. In fact, the complete opposite. They have been wasting more money than if they just kept with regular employees. And yet they keep investing more and more, even after almost half of the data centers planned for this year got canceled or delayed, which is just making this bubble even more cracked until one fuck up makes it and the economy break. Now, admittedly, AI does have its benefits. AI can help in medicine, finance, software, and even help the average Joe. Want to go on a cruise? AI can help research the best websites for cheap trips, all the best spots to visit, and even which cruises would fit what you are looking for in the fraction of a time it would take you to research it normally. But if this obsession with AI isn't moderated to a more reasonable level and taken slower, we could face one of the worst economic recessions ever, making things worse not just for gamers, but for everyone as a whole. So what's next? Are we doomed to suffer ever-inflating prices of consoles and games? Will we forever see games become worse and worse in an attempt to last forever, or reach an impossible level of graphics? Well, the short answer is no. But that's only if we acknowledge that we do in fact have the capability to cause a change, not just in the companies, but in the economy itself, like by boycotting these awful practices and raising our standards for these companies to earn our money. In fact, these very methods are actually being currently used and are working. Sony recently pulled a bold bullshit move in deleting over 500 movies and shows from every PlayStation player's account in the UK. And not only that, but starting in 2028, we'll be switching their entire library to digital only. And I'm not sure if you know, but digital games have a small issue of not actually belonging to you. Digital games have been under constant threat of being taken away or shut down entirely with little to no compensation, which frankly has become the last straw for fans, despite enduring the insufferable amount of low quality games and price hikes. Players have been non-stop unsubscribing from PS Plus, with many even switching to Xbox or PC entirely, since even Xbox has started a plan to allow you to turn your physical games digital without needing to worry about ever losing them, which still frankly better. Hell, it's so bad that despite the Steam machine being over $1,000, with the most expensive one being around $1,500, people are still buying it because they know with Steam you will own your game no matter what, even if it gets delayed. listed. The backlash is so bad that PlayStation has been offering 50% off discounts to try to stop the insane amount of people from leaving PS Plus, which even that barely works. It's fucking insane and helps to show these companies we are done with their bullshit. But now this leaves the question of what game can we use as an example of what we want in a game? What game can we use to show that you don't need super realistic graphics, an insane budget, and still be affordable and fun for the consumer? Well, there is one game that to me comes to mind before all others, and that game is... Now, if that name made you a little annoyed, it's fine, I get it, especially with the amount of awards it got during the Game of the Year and all. But those rewards aren't without reason, because this game fully embraces everything we want in a game without needing to fail on anything. Expedition 33 was Sandful Interactive's first ever game, made by talented developers, many of which came from Ubisoft because they were tired of the same horrible and repetitive output of sloppy games we have all come to hate. The art style of the game is beautiful, without needing to sacrifice anything. The mechanics are fun and entertaining. The story is one of the most captivating ones I've seen. It made me laugh and cry so much. It doesn't try to drag on forever even with its extra content. And you get all of this for an incredibly affordable price of $50. And even with a deluxe edition of $60, it doesn't do anything but give you some new outfits, pre-release plans, and music, since the DLC they released was free. This game is a masterpiece, not only in the way it was designed, but in the way it was given. It's a game that embodies the good of what we want. A game that shows the potential AAA games truly have. A game that when things get rough, I can always pick back up and have just as much fun as I had when I played it for the first time. And more than anything, it's a game that I believe can be our guiding light in escaping this hell that we have been forced to suffer.